Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining Behind the Build, Synqly's quarterly product recap and coverage of what's coming from our incredible engineering team. I'm going to go through a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started on this. To start, this webinar is being recorded and will be available to replay. So if unfortunately you have to drop off for some sad reason, don't worry. We'll send this off some light listening. You can pop it on as a podcast if you'd like. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to toss them into the chat or the Q&A. I'll be monitoring it. If it is relevant for the conversation that Steve and I are having at the time, we might interrupt and answer it, or we'll answer it at the end. If you do have to leave, or you want to recap and share this webinar with others within your organization, your friends, your family, whatever it is, don't worry, you're going to be receiving an email at the end of this saying thank you for coming, as well as a link to anything that we have talked about. So if Steve and I talk about something that's in the news, we bring up any information within the product, like our press release that we'll be talking about in a little bit. A link will be in there, as well as the link to the recording that I aforementioned. Now, if you are hard for hearing, as I am, closed captioning is turned on. So feel free, down the little bar at the bottom, you should be able to click on closed captioning. It is only in English. So if you're trying to translate it over to Spanish, I am sorry, I did not pay for that feature. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's introduce ourselves. On the right, that's me with the big beard. My name is Richard Malik, Senior Director, Head of Marketing. I'm going to be emceeing this, but the brains of the operation is to my proverbial left, Steve Erickson. Steve, please introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, Steve Erickson. I'm co-founder here at Synqly, our Chief Product Officer, run product and engineering. I've been in security for 25 years building products, and happy to be here solving the integration problem for security vendors and talking to you folks today.
The thing that I love about this, Steve, is that you've been living the problem that we're solving for so long, you and Joel, and it's fun to see the development that's coming out that we're about to highlight, and based off your experience and understanding the pain points of so many people that have run into this. Now, if this is your first run-in with Synqly, you're just getting to know us. Let's do a quick introduction of who we are. We are a cybersecurity and IT ops focused integration platform. We are in building out the infrastructure between vendors and other vendors for technical alliances, for partnerships, and more, all through a unified API. The goal of this, and we'll get into the architecture in a second, is connect once to many. That unified API component that we have developed in-house is enabling organizations to not have to build a single integration for every single partnership, but actually into a category that we call a multiplex connector. Again, we'll cover that in a quick second. We are using generative and agentic AI to help us develop and enable our customers with faster and stronger integrations. A little bit more into that. Steve is, again, the brains of that operation. And Synqly does currently maintain the largest security ecosystem of any integration platform on the market today, something we're extremely proud of. We are only cybersecurity and IT ops focused. It's what we do. It's what we live, what we breathe. As Steve said, he's been doing this for 25 years in cybersecurity. I've been doing this for 15 years. Everybody at this organization is cybersecurity focused. Now, our customers are experiencing a 90% time and cost savings when they use Synqly to handle their integration components. It's an incredible opportunity for your organization to scale up the number of integrations, native integrations, I should emphasize on that, quickly and securely. And we'll go through some demo opportunities at the end. But for the time being, here's really how it works. Synqly's AI-enabled integration platform is sitting right there in the middle. Now, you, customer A, customer B, you have your product that you're building out. You need to scale up the number of integrations you have. Instead of you having to go and build an integration to Qualys, Splunk, Tenable, Ping, whoever, you can go in and integrate into these categories at the top: events, ticketing, vulnerability, identity, EDR, assets, and so many more. We have cloud security coming. Actually, I think partially releases we're about to talk about, and more categories as defined and requested by our customer base. You come in, you build that integration into that category, and Synqly handles the rest. We've built those integrations into those OEM providers, and the data is then normalized down to an OCSF level. So your organization gets the data you need quickly, securely. And those integrations are handled very, very safely at that point. Steve, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean, I think, I like to think about Synqly as an abstraction layer, between our customers and our partners. And, we surface the use cases into that abstraction layer. And, the term abstraction layer helps me, when I'm talking to customers, enable them to get their head around the solution. So that's the way I think about the problem.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, as I said, the brains of the operation. I'm just the marketer. I just make things sound fluffy. Now, as I said, I made the bold claim. We have the largest ecosystem of cybersecurity vendors and partnerships out there. It is growing and growing every single day. This is just a very small snapshot of a few of the logos that we have brought into our integration platform, that we have built those integrations into across a variety of categories within the cybersecurity space, enabling you, customer X, to also have access to those integrations. Now, I should clarify this. We're not handling the sales of these partnerships. You still have to establish that relationship yourself. We're just the infrastructure, helping data get from point A to point B in a safe, secure manner as fast as possible.
The other thing I'll mention there is, we're building the company to be responsive to customer requests. As our customer base has, more vendors that want to be integrated, we're scaling the team to be supportive to those type of requests. And also, as mentioned earlier, we're building out some automation to make that a quick process.
Yeah. And with that, I'm going to actually pass it over a little bit more to you, Steve. Let's go ahead and dive into what has come out over the last few months.
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, we're constantly, looking to expand the ecosystem, and this is again largely based on customer requests. These are the most recent additions to the platform, but as I said, there's been a continual cadence of adding new vendors, adding new capabilities to the existing vendors. This is give you a sense of the new ones that have recently come out. We've spent a bunch of time expanding our ticketing and notifications connector to both support more products and more capabilities, to be able to create tickets, create notifications. Spending a bunch of time on SIEM. There's a lot of interest in our SIEM integration, which is not only acting as API translations from our APIs to the provider APIs, but we're also normalizing all that data to make it easy to both query data out of the SIEMs and to push data to them. So we've added Google SecOps and CrowdStrike Next-Gen SIEM to the supported providers there. And in addition, more Google products. We've integrated Google Workspace into our identity product, and Malwarebytes into our endpoint connector.
Yeah, and as you said a little bit earlier ago, it's definitely one of the biggest drivers here is the requests coming in from our growing customer base here. As they need more integrations, we're helping them scale up and take that workload off their plate, and you get those new logos added to our inventory as well.
Yeah, so this is Cloud Security is our latest connector. It essentially allows customers to be able to query things like findings, query assets, which is a very common use case for us. We'll be expanding into querying audit logs, being able to get more detailed sort of compliance data on policies that are in place over time. But we have some early releases there around the initial set of providers, and this is a high priority for us. We'll be continuing to add providers and capabilities as we move along. So
as cloud
security, let me know.
I mean, cloud security also is a growing topic within the cybersecurity space, and as we're evolving and meeting those needs, it's always a good thing to see that we're keeping up with the Joneses, if you will.
Yeah, and cloud security is a pretty broad category, and right now we're focused on like CSPM type of tools and integrations with, tools that are monitoring, compliance towards, various policies and being able to surface that to customers. As I mentioned earlier, SIEM is an area of focus for us, and we've spent a bunch of time, augmenting the SIEM connectors, adding new providers, and we've also got to a point where through some architectural changes, it's become very as also leveraging our internal LLM tools to be able to provide a fairly full set of data mappings between our schema and the provider schema. And what that does for customers essentially further enables the one-to-many integrations with SIEM, right? If you wanted to push data to a SIEM, you would send us that data. We would translate it from our OCSF-based model to the provider model, whether it be Elastic or Splunk or Google SecOps. So you don't have to deal with the vagaries of doing the data translation yourself to be able to support this variety of SIEMs. In the same way, when you're querying data out of a SIEM, you get the results all in one data schema, so to ease processing of that data and have a single code base that does that.
Yeah,
we're pretty happy with this one. So it's a big step forward for us and for our customers.
It is. Now, one that's a little bit near and dear to my heart is one of the first features I got to start helping out with, at least from the marketing front, is adaptive data mapping. Steve, this is, I don't know why I think this is the coolest thing, but I do think this is one of the coolest features that we've put out so far.
Yeah, so go back to our, the example I just gave with SIEM. We're doing our best to have a set of internal data mappings that is complete. In some cases, we may not be mapping certain attributes that you need for your solution. So, I mean, one of the big rocks for me this year, or the first half of this year, is really around extensibility, and this is one of the first features that is associated with that initiative, and it really lets you extend our normalized data schema to represent some additional attributes and let you define the mappings for those attributes, essentially allowing our customers to extend our platform in this way around data mapping.
I mean, I personally enjoy it because it's showing that flexibility and capability. Having worked in a SOC before, when you have the data coming in only from one integration to another, and this is the set integration, it may not be fitting the needs, right out of the box. And by providing this capability out to our customers, we are providing that flexibility to them to help them support their customers, their needs, their integrations in a more malleable fashion. Speaking of data, though. Asynchronous operations, I'm not gonna lie, this is a brand new one to me. I've had a little bit of fun learning about this, but this is out there as well in beta.
Yeah, so typically, Synqly requests have been completely synchronous. Essentially, you could think about our customers represented by that box on the left, and Synqly, obviously, our application is in the center. And prior to this, the only way that the standard operating model for us, and as far as handling requests, is the integrator, in this case, our customer, makes a request into Synqly. We then do the API and data translation to the configured vendor for that integration. We make that call out to the vendor and then handle the response data in the same way. We normalize the data into our OCSF-based schema and then return that data to you, which is fine, right? And we'll obviously continue to support that model. What we've heard from customers is a couple things. For one, the feedback has been, well, we'd like a more asynchronous model to be able to handle large data requests. Number one, you have a large amount of data that's being returned, as for a SIEM query, for example. It would be nice to not have that be synchronous, and because those could take some time, and we have to, it takes a little bit of work to be able to paginate through the results and things like that. The other thing that we've heard is customers want to schedule things, right? So maybe you want to schedule a pull of vulnerability data every 24 hours and be able to update your data pipeline with that data. This asynchronous operations essentially lets you, do both of those things. You could, provide us with a set of integrations that you want to be able to run, the schedule that you want to run them, and then an output is essentially another integration for where you wanted to push that data. It could be to, Amazon, Amazon S3 bucket or SQS type of integration. And so that sort of helps with, our customers don't have to create cron jobs or handle scheduling for those type of things they want to run on a periodic basis.
Yeah, that's
This one
really
is in
fun.
beta, so we're testing with customers now. But if any, obviously reach out if this is a feature that's
Yeah. As we said, it's a behind the build. You get some sneak peeks into the fun things that are coming out from us. Now, this is great because we actually get to show off a little bit of our UX. That's not a very common thing, you can actually see what the infrastructure kind of looks like here.
Yeah, I mean, I internally refer to this as Synqly on Synqly. We're essentially using Synqly in our admin UI app to add some integrations that can be useful for our customers. And we're starting out with the sort of the biggest thing that is needed from our customers, which is sort of being able to export events to some external source. And we're really happy about we could sort of sip our own champagne type of application here.
Synqly. I really enjoy that. And finally, I think we've got embedded updates.
Yeah, a couple more sections. So we've all, myself, Joel, some of the other folks have been in security for a really long time. And from the beginning, we knew that we needed an embedded version of this product. A lot of our customers are either using embedded because they have security requirements that prevents them from using our SaaS, or they're hybrid and they may use our SaaS for their SaaS, and they may have more highly regulated environments that they'd want to use our embedded solution for. And our embedded solution is really the same as our SaaS solution. Our build pipelines go two directions, one into SaaS and one into a container repository that hosts our embedded images for folks who want to run Synqly in their own environments, or may have self-hosted versions of the product themselves. So we're constantly focused on embedded as a top tier offering and a deployment option for our customers. Essentially the things that we've been working on a lot in Synqly embedded is some operational pieces, and that's where the Helm chart changes discussed here, where it's a popular option for our customers. We're always working to make it super easy to manage and deploy. Most customers reach out and are amazed at how wonderful our Helm charts are for those folks who care about Helm charts in the world. So we're constantly making updates there, and we're also one of the aspects of Synqly Embedded is the integration with the local KMS, and we're again expanding. We've expanded support there, making it easy to integrate with those local KMS tools for Synqly Embedded.
Yeah, let's be honest, our customer base does get excited over those things.
100%.
Well, what about Bridge? Bring it home here, Steve.
Yeah, Synqly Bridge is one of my favorite features. It's really, think about it as a lightweight proxy that your customers can deploy into their data centers or private networks so that Synqly could give access to those vendors that are running in those locations. And it's really a simple tool. There's not a lot of business logic in there, so it doesn't need to be updated frequently, which is the goal. So we didn't, want to force customers to have to service that frequently. And we've been, again, like embedded, we've been continually, improving it. And one of the things that we're really focused on is having really good troubleshooting for that tool, since it is running in your customers, environments. There has to be sort of a really high level of ability to troubleshoot and see what's going on without bothering the customer, and that's something we've really been focused on here. And the other part is the one nice feature about Synqly Bridge, which I'm personally really excited about, is it has the ability to manage credentials for the providers locally in the end customer's KMS. So in that way, the end customer doesn't need to give you or us or anybody the credentials for their for their security tools that we're integrating with. And we've simplified the ability to enable that in our solution, so that it's very easy for integrators to enable for their customers.
I mean, secret storage is such a critical component right now, as we have seen in the news over the past couple of years. So many organizations have mishandled their secrets that having a hyper focus on that at the core of our product is critical for us to be a cybersecurity and IT ops and MSSP integration platform. Like, that's just, without that, we're not serving the right market. And it's good to see that as a core functionality and thought process. So let's talk about what's on the horizon. This is where I get to kind of dive into what's coming. I've got two things that are out there. The first up is Synqly Labs. Now, what is Synqly Labs? Synqly Labs is a dedicated lab environment just for you to come in and test out an integration, make sure your quality of the data transferring and is working really, really well. Right now, it's a fully managed, scalable environment. It's a cost-effective approach to also testing out for your customers, make sure those integrations without putting customers' data at risk or potentially, sending data to the wrong spot. There is mock provider support right now, early access to simulated environments, replicated the supported products that we're doing, as well as vendor validation on demand. A big thing about this, though, is we are the first integration platform in the cybersecurity space to provide this to our customers. It is very, very difficult to create those relationships with the vendor partners that we have done, but the vendor partners are on board. Brain farting on that license, what that license is called all of a sudden, Steve. What is that license called when we can do the mock data? I just brain farted on that. License. It's a Wednesday. We both just forgot what it is. But these are built out the relationships that we have with the integration partners. So right now, the Synqly customers are able to access the Synqly Labs, and we're continuing to build out that capability and the opportunity with that, adding in more providers as needed, as requested by our customer base. So if you are a Synqly customer and you would like to use some mock data, please reach out to your customer success manager or one of us, and we'll get you taken care of. Finally, launched 2 hours ago. Very excited to announce Synqly MCP. MCP is an AI add-on, AI component that allows AI agents to trigger workflows, built in reading and enriching and acting capabilities within your network. Basically, we're bringing in the connectivity opportunity of agentic AIs and other AI-built products to be controlled by one centralized integrated agent. The actionable commands that are going to come out of this is absolutely critical for the streamlining and capability opportunities for all of our customers. You can go and make a request like, hey, I need the threats from this IP range. It normalizes the language as it should be on the AI side. You also, because of MCP and how we've built it, it's instant access to all of the largest cybersecurity ecosystem, as I've told you all about our integration capabilities. And it is helping to streamline the dev experience. If you are interested in a demo of this, please do connect with us. We'll showcase it to you and get you started with it as we are building it up. But yeah, we launched this morning and I'm very excited. We'll have a link to more information coming in the following email. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Steve?
No, I'm really excited about this. I think Synqly could provide a lot of value here in, enabling the agentic AI agents to be able to communicate directly with Synqly. We have and I think it'll really still with MCP in the picture, it'll Synqly is providing an incredible value here by
Yeah.
sort of normalizing the API interactions that are needed, normalizing the data, so that you're not trying to figure out how to train your models in 100 different APIs and products, and I think I'm really excited about this.
It also enables you. It's a similar value prop to Synqly's just integration platform. If I remember correctly, in the fact that you don't have to build out an AI integration into each of the vendors' AI components as well. We're handling that at scale.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, we want to help your developers, your product teams get back to doing what's best, which is developing the core features of your own product. We handle the infrastructure. You take care of the rest. So with that, that is the end of today's Beyond the Build. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on LinkedIn, connect with us via our website. We've got plenty of forms on the website, or emails as well. You can reach out to us at hello@synqly.com. You will be receiving an email with a recording of this webinar if you did register for this. And if you're interested in a demo to test it out, explore how we can help you scale up your integration opportunities and reduce the cost and development time to building out those integrations, go ahead, head over to synqly.com/demo, request a demo. We'd be happy to talk with you. Again, to my proverbial left, Steve, say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.